I heard my fiancée talking to her friends, saying, "It's just a business. His money, my face." I texted, "Your mic's open." Then I canceled the wedding bookings and the ring payment. She called me in a panic, saying it was just a joke, right as her card got declined. I was 29, engaged to the woman I believed was the love of my life, when I heard the words that shattered my entire world. My fiancée had always been the kind of woman who lit up a room. People noticed her wherever she went, her confidence, her grace, her effortless beauty. We had been together for 3 years, engaged for 8 months, and our wedding was just 6 weeks away. Everything seemed perfect. We had planned every detail of our future together. The venue, the honeymoon, the house we would buy. I truly thought I had found my forever. But one ordinary evening turned out to be the night that destroyed everything I thought I knew. I was working late in my home office, the soft hum of my computer filling the room, when I heard laughter from the living room. My fiancée was on a video call with her friends. At first, I didn't pay much attention. But then, through the thin walls of our apartment, her words became clearer. Something in her tone made me pause my work. I wasn't intentionally eavesdropping, but what I heard next made my blood run cold. Her friend had asked a simple question, something about why she wanted to get married so quickly. I expected her to say something romantic, something about how much we loved each other or how excited she was for our future. Instead, I heard her laugh softly before saying words that felt like a knife in my chest. "It's just business, his money, my looks." There was laughter from the other end of the call, but she continued speaking, completely unaware that every word was tearing me apart. She said she had strategically placed herself in my life, that she chose me because I was financially secure and emotionally dependable. She talked about our relationship like it was a business deal, how I provided the stability and she provided the beauty. She even mentioned researching my family's wealth, my career, and my future prospects before deciding to commit. The worst part? She bragged about seeing someone else occasionally, saying she couldn't leave him yet because he doesn't have the money I need. Her friends laughed, treating it like a joke, while she called our relationship her best investment yet. She described our future together as a financial security plan, detailing how she would benefit from the marriage, even discussing potential divorce settlements like it was all part of some cold, calculated strategy. I sat there frozen, my hands trembling as I tried to process the words coming from the woman I was about to marry. Every moment we shared, every kiss, every "I love you," every late-night conversation, suddenly felt like a lie. And then, through my anger and shock, I noticed something. Her voice was coming through our smart home system. Her microphone was still linked to my phone. I grabbed my phone, heart pounding, and typed a simple text, "Your mic's on." Then I hit send. The reaction was instant. From the living room, I heard her sharp intake of breath followed by a panicked scramble. She told her friends she had to go, then rushed toward my office, her face pale, eyes wide with terror. "You heard that?" she stammered, trying to smile through her fear. "It was just a joke, just girl talk. You know how we are." But I said nothing. I just stood there, staring at the woman I thought I knew. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. I told her I needed to clear my head and went out for a drive. As I left, I could hear her on the phone again, her voice high-pitched and panicked, probably trying to do damage control with her friends. While driving aimlessly through the quiet streets, my mind raced between rage and heartbreak. By the time I pulled over, I knew exactly what I had to do. I called the wedding venue first. The coordinator was kind, assuring me that the deposit could be refunded since we were still early enough. Next, I called the jewelry store where I bought the engagement ring, a ring I was still paying off. They allowed me to return it for a partial refund. Then I contacted every other vendor, the caterer, the photographer, the florist. Every call felt like a nail in the coffin of a dream I'd once cherished. When I returned home hours later, she was sitting on the couch, her eyes red from crying. The moment she saw me, she launched into a rehearsed speech. "It was taken out of context," she insisted. "I was just trying to impress my friends. You know I don't mean that stuff." But I could see right through it. Her words were empty, practiced, like she'd said them before to someone else. I told her calmly that I needed space and that things would change until I figured out what to do. Then I disabled her access to my bank accounts and credit cards. The next morning, she called me in tears. Her credit card had been declined. She couldn't pay for her salon appointment, and suddenly the reality of our situation hit her. She was losing the life she'd built off my back. What followed was a parade of emotions. Apologies, pleas, accusations. First, she tried to cry her way out of it, promising to change, saying she'd prove her love. Then she shifted to guilt, saying I was ruining years of our relationship over a silly joke. When that failed, she got angry. Everyone talks differently with their friends. She yelled, "You're being ridiculous." But deep down, she knew the truth. She had been caught. Over the next few weeks, I slowly began untangling my life from hers. I moved into a new apartment while she was at work and left the engagement ring on the kitchen counter with a note that simply said, "You have 30 days to move out. I hope you find what you're looking for." That same evening, my phone exploded with calls and messages from her. Some were tearful, others angry, some full of manipulation, but none of them changed my decision. Days turned into weeks. Then came the first update. 2 weeks after I left, she sent me a long email. It wasn't about love. It was about money. She explained that she couldn't pay her rent or car bills without my help. She offered to repay me later if I'd help her now. It was almost pathetic to read. She didn't miss me. She missed the comforts my wallet provided. I didn't reply. Then her friends started messaging me on social media. They told me I was overreacting and that it was just girl talk. Some even tried to convince me that she really loved me. But their words only proved how twisted that whole circle was. If they thought treating a relationship like a business deal was normal, then I wanted nothing to do with any of them. A month later came update 2. I heard through mutual friends that she had moved back in with her parents. She couldn't afford her apartment, and the car she'd loved so much had been repossessed. She was telling everyone that I had left her without warning, painting herself as the poor, heartbroken victim. But the truth eventually spread, and when it did, the sympathy she'd been collecting evaporated. Friends started reaching out to me privately. Some admitted they had always felt something off about her. One mentioned how she always asked about my salary and family wealth early in our relationship. Another said she talked more about my lifestyle than my personality. I realized the red flags had been there all along. I had just been too in love to notice. Then came update 3 months after the breakup. By then, I was healing. I had started taking cooking classes, joined a hiking group, and rediscovered the joy of living for myself. My savings were growing, and I felt lighter than I had in years. Then, out of the blue, she reached out again. Through a mutual friend, she asked if we could meet for coffee. She claimed she wanted closure, to apologize properly. Whether she loved me later didn't matter. The foundation of our relationship had been built on lies, and you can't build a future on broken ground. I told her calmly that I wished her the best but could never trust her again. She left in tears. That was the last time I saw her. Months later, I heard she was dating someone new. A financial analyst, of course. It was clear she hadn't changed. She was still chasing stability over sincerity. Looking back, I'm grateful I discovered the truth before walking down that aisle. It saved me from years of pain, legal battles, and emotional destruction. The experience taught me priceless lessons: to pay attention to red flags, to protect my finances, and to value actions over words. I learned that real love isn't about what someone can provide. It's about who they are when everything else is stripped away. Now I live freely, confidently, and without regret. I know what I want in a partner: someone genuine, loyal, and honest. Someone who sees me, not my bank account. And if my story teaches anyone anything, it's this: when someone shows you who they truly are, believe them the first time. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories that remind you to protect your heart and your worth.